Hello and welcome to the Reference Point Podcast. I am your host, Paolo, and today I am joined by my own boys, Anthony and UncleLou.
What's up?
What's cooking, boys?
And today we're going to be talking about Season 4 of The Boys. You know, we haven't talked about the first 3 seasons yet, but overall, I can say for myself, I've been really loving the series. It's really cool. I only read a handful of the issues by Garth Ennis. I love Garth Ennis. I love his stuff with the Punisher. And so, like, seeing more projects from his work, I was, like, immediately excited, and I've been loving it ever since, even though it's wildly different.
Yeah, the comic is what some of us would call low-key a stinker. I find it vastly overrated, not that great, super edgy, and like always trying to be like, oh, look at how cool we are, look at how dark this is, isn't that edgy, that's ooh.
Yeah, I could see
and
that.
The comic has too much of that, in that the show I found always captured a much better tone, in that it's edgy, it's kind of, you know, a little weird at times, but they're not always trying to overdo it with like the most insane stuff just to get people to say, oh, look at how insane the show is, you know.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. The comic went sometimes. There was the line, and then there was the line of laughing, and then they went so far down.
Yeah, it's like they went way past overboard that it's like, okay, like why would I even want to read this, you know? But the show, I have nothing but praise to say about the first 2 seasons. I love the first 2 seasons. The 3rd season, very good also, but disappointing for me in some aspects, in that I found the season started and the characters are at one point, and the season ended and the characters are at one point. And that no one really changed except one character, and that was Butcher.
I think the first few seasons have been fantastic, and everything they've done around that has been also fantastic, from Gen V to the side series where they did the animation. All of it has been so, because it's all intertwined.
Yeah.
And everything in the universe slowly pops up here and there. If you pay attention to stuff in the background, it's all intertwined, and it's so beautiful, down to the social media stuff that we were talking about before.
Yeah, their social media is fantastic. Such amazing, like, in-universe, like, tweeting and advertising. I loved it, honestly. Like, even as for me as like a marketing major and like a social media like person, like I was like, this is cool.
Before the series even dropped, I think they dropped the picture of something similar that happened to Trump in trial, where they did an artistic picture of him in court, and they did the same thing with Homelander.
Yes.
I think I did see something like that.
It was amazing. I think they even used a shot in the first episode of him just sitting there, very straight faced, like, this is my life. It's the same thing every day. But I think the series overall has been fantastic. I'm enjoying every bit of it. Way more than the comic book too.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the comic book when I first read it. I read it when I was a kid too, so I felt like my humor was a little bit darker.
It's the kind of book that's cool when you're a teenager. Then when you grow up, you're like, this is not cool.
Yeah.
Watchmen is cooler. Come on, like, no, get that out of here, The Boys.
Like, I haven't read it, I don't know, but I love Garth Ennis's Punisher run.
Oh
my god,
I love Garth Ennis.
Phenomenal.
He's a great writer. Welcome Back, Frank, iconic Punisher story. He's done so many good stories, but sometimes he just goes overboard with the edginess that it just doesn't work.
He's better than Mark Millar.
Well, they're both edgy, and I'm not here to rate edginess over edginess.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to this whole series. Like, the first 3 episodes were very enjoyable for me. I'm looking forward to what they do with this series, but I'm like you. I'm hoping they do a little bit more with this season, so you feel more excited for the next. Where I was okay with the break that they gave us from the 3rd to the 4th season. I was okay with it. They also gave us a few other things in between, like Gen V, which was entertaining and satisfying. But
I'm sure it was.
Like,
I haven't seen it.
I was left a little unsatisfied with what they left us for season 3.
They could. I'm sorry to say, but they could only keep Homelander alive for so long until it starts getting a little stale. And season 3 is when I started feeling it becoming like, okay, how many times we're gonna kill Homelander? We created something and it's gonna instantly kill him. Oh, it didn't work.
What are your thoughts on like the first 3 episodes?
I enjoyed them. Like, it is only the first 3, so it's not exactly like mind-blowing, mind-breaking stuff, but I really did find myself enjoying them. Like, I just sat down, watched them, felt great. I'm like, this is the show that I love and I enjoy.
I felt they heard the audience, what you said right there, that they felt Homelander was becoming stale, and even within what it's starting, they show that Homelander himself may feel that he's going a little stale.
Yeah.
So,
And I was happy to see some of those things addressed in a way.
Yes.
In that I just, after a point, I just want to watch the same season over and over again of just like, we're gonna kill him. No, we won't. We got this guy. He could definitely kill him. Oh, that guy's actually worse than him, so we're gonna kill him, but not Homelander.
And here's a penis.
Yeah, and by the way, we're gonna show a couple here and there, and like, you know, that's about it.
You can't for the first episode. You can't avoid it. For every season, there's something. There's a there's a penis.
They're always just trying to.
It's funny. Every time I see like a penis or something, I'm laughing my ass off.
But
It's so funny.
It's not done in a way that you're like, oh, come on, like this again. It's done so subtly. They just slip it. I won't spoil it how they did it for this season.
Yeah.
But it's so well done. I was just like, oh.
I still think the best one was like when they had the Ant-Man character climb into the
That
is
was
the funniest. I was literally tears crying.
no, that was like so cringe, and just imagine. I hate that shit, man. And to me, the funny thing about is the way they kill him. To me, was actually the funniest thing, in that he traps him in a bag of cocaine and shakes that thing. Like, I'm sorry, but that's so funny to me. And he goes, "Come on, son, have a bump."
So yeah, for my thoughts for season 4 right now, it's really off to a strong start. I would say in terms of like, you know how they always did like the 2-3 episode premiere before. This one, I felt like I was a lot more invested. I don't know if it was because, you know, we're 4 seasons in, or if it was the content of the episodes itself, but I really just sat there and I was just like,
No,
I
got a complaint about how they're dropping this season. Who made the boneheaded decision to go from 8 p.m. on Thursday nights to 3 a.m. on Thursday mornings, Wednesday nights? Who is watching shows at 3 a.m.? 3 episodes at 3 a.m. People work. People have jobs. Do it at 8 p.m. I don't want to see spoilers when I'm at work and I check Twitter because, you know, I'm on my lunch break. Give me a break. Stop doing these 3 a.m. drops. I hate it when Disney does it. And now Amazon, who I always praised for doing it at 8 p.m., decided we're going to change it. And why? Because they're stupid. They shouldn't have done that. I hate the fact that they dropped it. The 3 episodes were great. It was a strong start.
I'm really looking forward to what they do with this whole series, though. Especially with like knowing that some characters might die, and knowing that some or scared that some of your favorite characters might finally die because we're getting close to the end of the series. Hey, how much longer can they actually go with it?
I am so happy because they had basically said, Eric Kripke in an interview had said, oh, the boys are going to go on longer than the original plan. And I was like, oh no, this show's going to go on 10 seasons. And by the 8th season, we're going to be like, why am I still watching this show? Thankfully, he corrected himself a week or 2 later and said, oh, actually, the next season coming out, season 5, is the final season of The Boys. And that's it. And I, for one, I'm almost glad that that's happening. Not because the show's ending, but because I know that now they're going to be able to keep it fresh and new.
Yeah.
And it won't... I don't have that worry anymore of, oh, I'm going to watch the same show 8 seasons now. Because now if I watch the same show twice, 2 seasons, okay, whatever. Like,
yeah, because it's like, nowadays it feels like people just want more of everything. They want something to go on forever. You know what? There's something nice about having an ending to something. Like, I don't need to see constant, like I don't need to see more stuff.
And it also makes me think more about the season, like, oh, but where's the season going to go? Like, are they actually going to come into big ideas now? Like, I'm intrigued by what they're going to do. Hopefully it doesn't let me down, but I'm hoping, I don't think it will.
So far with this 3 episodes, I haven't been let down. I was a little like sour when I got to the 3rd episode. I was like, oh, I want more. I want another episode.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to wait for the drip because, like you guys said, we're adults. We have jobs now.
The weeks pass by quick, guys. I can't lie to you. They're getting quicker and quicker.
Life is going by, and we're just here watching TV.
For sure.
So episode 1, they address the power with Newman's daughter.
Not Newman from Seinfeld.
She's got basically the Los Plagas from Resident Evil 4 and 5.
Yeah, super lame power to get.
Yeah.
If I got shot up with Compound V and that's the power I got, I'd be so disappointed.
It's just strange because everybody has these really cool powers like flying, laser beams splitting up. But she just has tentacles coming out of her mouth. I was like,
yeah, there's look kind of lame, but okay, she brutally murdered people, and that was pretty funny to
It
see.
reminded me of kind of like a Predator, but like a weirder snake version of it.
Yeah, it's a little goofy.
And she had braces on or something, so I'm wondering how that works.
I found that funny. I was just like, yeah.
I'm just like, first things first, I gotta dive right into it. Homelander, like, pulling out his pubes and whatnot. What the like, what the hell?
And
I'm watching
a jar of it.
Yeah, and at first I'm kind of just watching this. I'm like, but are they just doing this to make him look like I thought they were doing this to be like edgy and like, look at what a sick man this is. He's keeping pubes. Like, it's like I'm just watching this like, this is so like stupid.
I think though that's gonna be a big plot between him and Butcher, right? Butcher's on the
Butcher wants his pubes.
Well, yeah, I just maybe grind them up and put them in his tea, but no,
never know.
But he's on the verge of death, and Homelander's scared to death because he's a man-child.
Yeah,
and he's never really grown up from being a boy and never really known how to be a man.
And that's it. And I found in the second episode when they even towards the end of the first one, they're starting to explore that, and that you're like, oh, you can see Homelander actually has a real big problem with aging, and it's getting to him. Yeah. That's what that is. Not them just making him do another sick thing like him liking milk. It was an actual story thing.
I think, honestly, there's also some anxiety coming in with his son, too.
Yeah.
Because his son is so young.
But so much more powerful than, on the almost at same level as he is now.
Yeah, it's like I would say, like, seemingly, like, he's like, he's already better than me. And then on top of this, there's that anxiety of, like, of being loved because that's Homelander, part of Homelander's.
And he's going to steal the spotlight. And that's the reality, and that he doesn't want to take the spotlight no matter how much he loves his son.
Yeah, because like in the was it the second episode or the first? Ryan, Homelander's son, gets to do his first save because they're not going to make him a superhero. And the thing is, originally it was supposed to be just him, so that he could stand out and be his own, and then really just become this whole new superhero, the next Homelander they're basically building up to. For him.
They called him Homeboy. The lamest shit I ever heard in my life.
They changed it to Ryan, remember?
I know, it was just really funny when they put Homeboy and it was like just the lamest thing you've ever seen. That was funny to me.
And with that, at first Homelander's fine with it, but then when people are starting to talk like, oh, he's going to replace Homelander,
he was never fine with it. He was never. He just bit his tongue the whole time when Sage is giving him big. Yeah. Everyone wants a white boy, Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Neo. But in his head, he's like, no, I'm that white boy, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
But you're not. First off, you're not a white boy anymore. You're not even a man. You need to grow up and pass on the torch.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This was my theory, and which I wanted to say before, and now I can say it now because we're talking spoilers. Knowing that the next season's the last season, I'm getting the vibe that maybe Homelander dies at the end of this season, and the next season the villain's gonna be Butcher, and he's gonna get Compound V because he needs to cure his CTE, and that's how he's gonna do it with Compound V and be like, oh, he's the next big, and then next season's gonna be them trying to take him down. I think the whole point is saving Ryan, so Ryan might be the one who actually defeats Butcher, and Ryan's gonna end up becoming the good one.
What if he defeats Homelander?
That could work too.
Because here's the thing. I'm getting the vibe that he might actually come out as being the first real hero.
Well, besides Starlight.
Cares. Like that's definitely the vibe I'm getting right now.
He's the first natural soup. He can be the first real hero. And the actual not built up hero that is Vought makes Vought to be, but the true hero that is morally and ethically inclined to do the right thing.
Exactly.
100%.
That's genuinely the vibe I'm getting based on his interactions, because like he killed one of the stuntmen from his like save, because I guess to mention it for context, every hero who has their first save, it's all staged, it's not real, so they never actually really saved their first few people, right? And with Ryan it got botched and he killed the person by accident because of Homelander's interference. He scared him, and Ryan felt guilty about it, and he felt remorse. While, contrast with Homelander, he just doesn't feel remorse for anything. He's just like cold and psychotic about it.
They're just toys.
Yeah, they're just toys for their amusement.
I just gotta say this about what I'm liking about this new season. Black Noir, the actor playing him, is so funny.
Oh.
In the first episode, when they just brutally murder those guys, he's the first one to do it, and he goes, "Geez, guys, that was fucked up." It's like, and you're like, "Wait, what the hell?" He talks. Incredible.
I was
what a
what
laugh
they were
I
doing because
got.
he died last season.
I figured it was like a clone or something, only to find out it's a paid actor, which to me was so funny.
It's the same actor.
Yeah, it's the actual actor who
But
played him in all the seasons.
Doing really well, like compared to the last one where he was cold. Like, he didn't have any lines, but
Yeah.
you could feel the character's presence in the room. This guy is a complete goofball.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. So like the fact that it's a whole new, it's the same actor being a whole new character.
Yeah.
It's really cool to me because to me I was like, okay, so they just got this new guy to kind of like get different body language out of it, a different tone.
It's
cool.
It's just so funny to me. Like every time he says like, "But what's my motivator here?" And it's like, "But you don't speak." Like they're just telling him, "You don't speak." Like shut up. Like they do not take him seriously at all.
Calm down. Too
It's
much.
so great. It's like too much. You're going insane with this. It's a really funny gag to me, and I love it.
This series is very, very political, especially in this season, and it's reflecting a lot of what's going on in the U.S. You know, with the whole Democrat Republican stuff. We're not going to dive too much into it. I mean, we're literally a show about nerd stuff.
We also live in Canada.
What biting political insight do we have?
No kidding.
But basically, they're reflecting that a lot. And one of the things they did is they faked the deaths of people on Homelander's team. So they rounded up the 3 top people, like the most known people,
Todd, that loser.
including Todd, who was the one who first cheered on Homelander when he killed that person. And
got folded by mother's milk in the last season.
yeah, and they brought him to this like pizzeria place thing of like Vought or the 7, I don't know. And they're just like, yeah, you're martyrs, and then they kill them. Homelander orders the Deep, Noir, and A-Train to kill them. And you know, Noir and Deep, they're like, oh, it's fucked up, but like they're living with it so far. But A-Train, on the other hand, he's like, he's ready to quit, but he's feeling also that remorse too. We'll leave it at that for now.
I'm really liking the direction they're taking A-Train story this season. In that, I remember even a bit of last season, you see him kind of being. He's not you can tell him in the 7, it's not what it is anymore. He doesn't like being in the 7 anymore. And now we're actually seeing that pay off a bit more. And that, does he want to be this fake hero, or does he actually want to help people?
Yeah, and I think he's feeling finally guilt for all of his actions, and he's trying to correct his wrongs.
Yeah.
I feel the character throughout the whole series has always been progressing to this point, because from the moment with Huey's girlfriend, even realizing that he may have affected people to this degree where he affected Huey, he's been feeling bad, and he's been making these changes, even though he's been doing some screwed up in between.
Yeah.
You can't say that he hasn't made some questionable choices.
No kidding.
But he's been progressing to this side of, maybe I'm not on the good side or the right side. Maybe I've actually been contributing to the problem.
And you could see that when he's trying to connect with his family and whatnot.
They don't want to.
Yeah, because he was such a bad dude, and you even blame them for some. Like, I mean, I wouldn't.
Do you think we're gonna get a full redemption arc?
I think so. I think that's exactly where they're leaning.
And is he gonna survive it?
That's the only problem.
And so I guess the last bit we're gonna really tackle here is, John, you gotta go back home.
Oh, yes.
Homelander's having a mental breakdown, and the only resolution to this mental breakdown, at least between his like 5 personalities, is that he has to go back to where it all started, back to the people and place that he was raised in.
They flipped it through I think it was one of the earlier episodes where he was dreaming, and then they showed the red door a few times in his dream, and they showed other scenes, and I think they even appeared one scene we have never seen before, because a lot of the scenes we've watched.
Yeah, somewhere like from season 1 and 2, and then you see something that's like, oh, I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah, there was
like they're sprinkling in something that's we're
there was
gonna
a little
see
boy
soon.
walking to the red door, and then there was a little boy in a red room, which seemed like almost like a Superman red room, you know, where they try to weaken him. I don't know what they were doing to him, but I don't even know what they're connecting. My theory is that door is going to be connected to taking Ryan to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too. I think that's where he's gonna also bring him to like kind of make him emotionless.
We're gonna see what really made Homelander and why he really is the horrible person he is today.
Exactly.
We've already gotten bits of that in the past few seasons, but now I think they're really gonna commit to it and like, yeah, this is what happened. It's pretty messed up, ain't it?
I think there's gonna be more unresolved plot with Homelander before we finally get his resolution, be it in this season or the next.
And
Yep.
Also, what's her name's Kimiko?
Kimiko, yes.
Kimiko. She's also gonna find some resolution. So a lot of people are gonna be tying up their
Loose
traumas.
ends.
We're
You
going
said
back to the
loose ends.
past in this season.
I guess, like even Kimiko says to her therapist, the past doesn't define us. We kind of have two characters right now whose pasts are defining them, even three with Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
Huey, could you argue it?
Yeah, with the mom coming back and everything.
Mom. Then you also, don't forget, Starlight with Firecracker too, her past.
Mm-hmm.
True, she has to face the horrible person she was to become
Frenchie.
the Seven. Oh, it's true. It is a common theme without the
Firecracker, just a side note, horrible powers. Terrible. Terrible powers.
Jubilee. It's Jubilee.
And you believe she was lame
It's
and low-key
true.
racist.
I actually hate that part of this. It's so much how heavy they go into racism. But
Yeah.
it's kind of the reality we're living in right now of how
There's some sick people out there.
Yeah, and to me, I don't associate with this kind of world, so I feel it's so far behind me because it's part of the past.
Yeah.
But sadly, it's still part of the reality we live in, and
Just even like some of the comments people leave on posts are just so fucking disgusting.
I know, like, people are upset that there's a fire in the Acolyte. Like, it just, I don't get people.
we're not gonna go
I don't
back.
get it. It's not that serious.
But like in all seriousness, like even just like for example when they showed Sister Sage, for example on Twitter, there was a lot of nasty comments just making fun of her race, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, guys,
really,
you hate it when they turn white characters black and you want black characters, original black characters. We get black original characters and you're still nasty. I don't know, to me that just states that you're a racist motherfucker.
We also got what a society of complainers we live in sometimes, and that we're just going to complain about the littlest things that don't really affect your life.
Literally.
It's unbearable. It's unbearable. Fires can exist in space if it's science fiction.
All this to say though, Anthony, I think you really did nail it though with this season is literally going to be about the past.
Yeah.
And how it's all really defining everyone's futures.
Exactly.
So I'm excited about that.
Me too. Can't wait to see where the season goes, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Final thoughts?
I love it, and I might go back and watch the other small stuff they've created because throughout the 3 episodes they just released, there's tons of stuff they touched on. So I just want to go back and rewatch it.
See, now I feel like I have to go back to rewatch it now because I didn't watch Gen V. I didn't watch the animated one. So I'm like, am I missing out?
Eventually, I'll catch up. I promise. I promise, Ref Point fans. I'll watch Gen V eventually.
All 2 Ref Point fans. Us.
Maybe 3. Matthew's at home watching. Shout out to him. He's a good guy.
And as for me, I really like this season. I was locked in from the beginning, be it from the actual content or because we're 4 seasons deep, and the 5th season is the confirmed final one.
Yeah.
And yeah,
That's the show.
That's the show.
Well, if you liked what you saw here, let us know. Leave a comment, leave a like. What did you think of Boys Season 4? Did you watch Gen V? Did you watch the animated stuff? Did you not? No, let's have a little conversation in the comments. And you can find us on all social media platforms at RefPoint Podcast. UncleLou, you got anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, just hit that like button. Hit it.
Smack it if you have to.
Yeah. And guys, do not forget to support your local comic book stores.
Thank you.